Hey, y'all. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicings rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
All right. Hello, everyone.
That was Gatari Green singing the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
My name's Amaya Fokuo.
I'm Zoey Younger.
And welcome to Black History Month 2020. Woo! That's what I like to hear.
So this year's theme is Still I Rise. We wanted to choose this theme because it's more of a reaction from last year's theme of We Are Tired, to show that although we are exhausted by racial battle fatigue, we still march on and we still fight on.
Yeah, we've spent countless months putting this show together. We hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Timeline people, please come live.
Good shit.
You got it. Don't be nervous. Good luck, kid.
I'd like to register to vote.
Why are you trying to stir up some trouble?
I just want to vote, sir.
All right, recite the Constitution preamble.
We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union,
How
establish
many district court judges are in the state of Minnesota?
289.
Name them.
Even though in 1920 African Americans gained the right to vote, we still had obstacles we faced.
In 1776, the Constitution was written, giving land-owning citizens the right to vote. In this case, only white men.
In 1868, the 14th Amendment allows former slaves to be citizens and can therefore vote.
Black voters were still denied, so in 1870, the 15th Amendment was passed granting black men the right to vote.
1898, grandfather clauses are established in Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Virginia, and Louisiana, which are states that you can only vote if your grandfather had the right to vote, which restricted almost all African Americans.
In 1920, the 19th Amendment allows black women to vote.
1926, black women attempting to vote in Birmingham, Alabama are beaten by election officials.
1940, Jim Crow laws prohibit blacks from voting by establishing literacy tests and poll taxes before voting.
In 1964, the 24th Amendment states poll taxes are illegal.
In the summer of 1964, Freedom Summer takes place, which consists of young white people attempting to register more blacks to vote in Mississippi. Although very few were actually registered, Freedom Schools established and educated black students on how to fight for social, political, and economic equality.
1965, the march from Selma to Montgomery occurs for voting rights. On August 6, 1965, the Voting Rights Act is signed into action.
And still we rise.
Okay, so what events or setbacks in racial equity have discouraged you?
Shootings.
You want to elaborate on that?
Like white people, white police is killing black people.
On the bus, I used to be told that I wasn't black enough to sit at the back of the bus.
So when I first got here, like freshman year, I felt like I couldn't really perform how I really performed because it was like when I first came here, it was like an all-white school, more like mainly white people. So I didn't like really feel comfortable showing my real.
One time, I think I was around 16 or 15, I was at the mall and I ended up like losing my brother because I don't know where he went. And I ended up being like followed around by a security guard for like a really long time. I didn't know what to do at that point, and eventually he ended up like confronting me and putting me in a like random room and asking me like random questions like what's in your bag or like why are you here and stuff, which I didn't really understand why.
Well, one time when I was at the mall with my friends, my two white friends, I was in Ulta and I had one of the employees call security on me so they could watch me, while there's also another white lady next to me doing the exact same thing I was doing.
Like for instance, like when you're in like IB classes, let's just say you're like the only black kid, and like no offense to y'all peers out there, but like y'all just like, well, like I'm the only black person in an IB class, and we start talking about the topic like slavery, like everyone just looks at you like you're supposed to know about the whole thing. Like, no, I'm like in your generation.
I've been told like I can't do certain things because of like my ethnicity, and like certain things like might hold me back because of like the way I look, and it kind of hurts, but it makes me want to like move forward even more.
I'm a Muslim, and sometimes I see some hate crimes going around on the news, on the internet, and sometimes in real life.
When they see me, they like, oh, she's black, so she must act like all typical black people. And so I'm not one to talk like ghetto, I guess, is what people call it. So they're always surprised that like, oh, you're different from everybody. You don't hang out with these people or anything like that.
Mostly like with police brutality and like what's been going on with that.
Probably like people discriminating me and like being rude to me about being adopted by a white person and stuff, and like not calling me black and not accepting me as a black person.
Well, I feel like sometimes in the classroom, I'm somebody that took all honors classes this year, especially moving up to high school. I feel that in my classes, a lot of the people that I see are white or aren't people of color, and just being somebody that's there, and sometimes I get asked to speak on behalf of like people that aren't white or minorities because of that.
I think a lot of the colorism jokes that are still like normalized and that are still like deemed as okay today, like as far as like somebody saying, oh, it's just my preference that I don't like dark skinned girls, or you know what I'm saying, that kind of thing, but really that's just prejudice and your self-hate for you being dark skinned, that kind of thing.
So people at the private schools like talking in a little group, and they didn't think I was gonna hear them, so it was like, you see that little black boy over there, he's not supposed to belong here.
What events in Black history inspired you?
I think Rosa Parks, because she did what she had to do to make her point, and by doing that action, it made a big difference in how the world is today.
Jackie Robinson, because he was one of like the first black people to make it into like a sport.
When everybody get together and speak what's on their mind, stuff that need to change, stuff like that, yeah.
Definitely what MLK did was
like really like important to me, and like just we are here because of that. Like I can be friends with everybody because of what he did, and that I Have a Dream speech was like, even though it's like something like everybody knows, it's still like it's really powerful. Like if you like sit down and think about it.
Probably Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream speech.
Muhammad Ali a lot, because he spoke the truth. He spoke what he actually felt, and he was like a big inspiration on people that play sports that was black.
Some key events in Black history that inspired me is obviously probably the Dr. Martin Luther King speech, I would say, and a big one that a lot of people doesn't know about is the Little Rock Nine, the first black 9 kids to integrate schools and end segregation between schools between whites and black.
The Little Rock Nine, they actually inspired me a lot because they wanted to get an education. They fought for their education, and like people are taking it for advantage now, and it's kind of like hurtful, I guess.
How have you overcome it?
Not really caring what other people think, or not really caring how I perform based on my color, or just being myself, basically.
By being myself.
By just ignoring them and pushing it away.
Understanding my culture and knowing where I came from.
Talking to my grandmother. Just knowing that I'm strong, I'm, smart, and I'm capable of defending myself physically and verbally against whatever life throws my way.
And our hair is beautiful, and our skin.
Okay, so how has your race affected you as a teacher?
Okay. My race has affected me, well, let's just say as just a person, I think, before even a teacher. My race has affected everything that I do because it is me. I can't separate the two from me as like a person and me as me and my race. And so in my everyday life and as a teacher, it helps motivate me and strive for all things excellence and all things great and all things greatness, because I know the legacy in which I come from. And so as a teacher, I know that it's really important to make sure that students get to see who I am, not just as a black woman, but just as a person, because I think oftentimes the narratives around African American people can be negative historically. And so to understand and open the eyes of people who may not have ordinarily had the exposure or the experience to interact with someone like me.
I think it's affected me a tremendous amount. I've been working in education for a total of like 6 years. I've been a para, I've also taught classes like speech, and now I'm here as a GLC, but I think it has affected me a tremendous amount. I started in schooling up north where there's, obviously the blacks are the minority, so it was rare to see people like me working as a staff member, so I thought it was very important to keep my head up high and speak strongly about, who we are as people.
Growing up, I didn't really realize what it meant to have like a history that I could really identify with, and I still don't really honestly have a set like this is who I am, and it's still something that I'm negotiating, and I think because of that, it's something that I can address with my students. So every year I'll like talk about my racial history.
I mean, from day one, my father told me that this is the way it is and this is the way it's always going to be, so you could either put your best foot forward or you could fall behind with everybody else. So,
in my experience as being one of a few black educators along my career, I have been really expected to help manage behaviors of black students. So that it's impacted me in that way. I've had to really prove that I'm worthy of this vocation.
I had a student say to me, why are all of the teachers or staff of color in a role that involve some form of disciplinary. So I think as a staff person, it affected me because students automatically see me and assume that my role is to perform some type of discipline to the students of color. I remember the student was a junior at the time, and at the time I was doing attendance, and her comment was, oh, so all of the black teachers are doing either pulling the black kids for their attendance or an ISS or some form of detention or GOC. So it's as if, well, if you're black, you're here to discipline the students of color because they're the ones you primarily see in those spaces. I think that has been part of the challenge and part of students assuming that or trying to, or making that I guess, correlation, so to speak, so.
Well, I guess you'd have to start at the beginning. So I grew up inner city, many students and adults alike. There was a lot of obvious structural racial inequities. You know, we didn't have the fresh produce. We couldn't take the trolley to Center City in Philadelphia and get fresh blueberries or spinach and stuff. We just had to shop at the corner store or whatever. And so, you know, I grew up eating things out of a can for the most part. And, you know, we didn't have very good healthcare providers in my area or very good schools. So my family and I, we all pretty suffered the collateral damages of, you know, not having those resources.
For me, excellence is in everything that I do. So it's in how I do my job. It's in how I carry myself. It's in the words that I use. And so I'm hoping to model that for other students, particularly black students, that you need to set your own standard. Don't let anybody tell you who you are not, and do not fall prey to this bigotry of low expectations.
Just trying to give young people someone to look up to, someone to come here. I know stress or school can be stressful, so just coming in and trying to ease that pressure, have a little fun, and let them know that with school, possibilities are endless, and you got to do that first. But you could also have a good time while doing it. So.
I don't know. I feel like I'm still trying to figure that out. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like a day at a time, you try to keep the faith. I was raised to have faith, so you pray about it, right? And you try to educate your kids. So my kids are very young. They're not quite at a point of fully understanding, but I try to educate the students around me, and I know, eventually it's going to be an educational piece for my kids as well, and how the world works. And I find that really sad that I have to say that, because you want to say, well, just go out and be great, go live, be free, have fun, be safe, but you realize that the rules are different because of how you look. And with that comes another conversational piece. So I guess for me, I just have to stay abreast of all of that and make sure that my kids here at school, my kids at home, have information that keeps them safe when they step outside as well.
Well, in work that's easy. I try to get involved and do things like this. Help out with the Black History Month show. I also help out with the cultural show and try to see what kids of color in the building are doing outside of school and offer my help, or if they need any resources in school to help promote what they're doing outside of school. I'm all about that.
How do you promote Black excellence in your lessons and classes?
How do I promote Black excellence? I promote Black excellence by incorporating narratives of all people. I think that Black excellence is representative of knowing history, and because I teach U.S. history, it's very natural for me to integrate experiences of Black people, but all people, as we take a look back at what our country was and who we are today. And so promoting Black excellence is saying, look, we're going to incorporate everyone into the story, the historian narrative of our country, and we are going to not shy away from telling the truth as far as what happened and what's going on today.
In the classroom, a lot of it comes to, in my eyes, holding that student to that high level of expectation. Like, I'm not going to allow a student to just like check out just because they feel like they can't do it. Being mixed race, am I white, am I black? And it wasn't until like college that I was like, I can be mixed. But I think now that I've gotten older, now that I am a teacher, now that I did get into college and everything, a lot of it with that affirmative action aspect of it is people will look at you and think the only reason you're in that position is because you're blank. Even though that's not at all how affirmative action actually works, that's the assumption that people will make. And so you, again, going back to that piece of like, I need to hold myself to that level of excellence to prove that I do deserve to be in whatever position I'm in.
What like changes or improvements have like helped you overcome that?
I think as a general staff that there's been more of a push for the staff at least to kind of recognize that these things exist. So when you're like one person who's like, yeah, we got to change this, it's a lot harder than if you have like 50 people that are working with you. I think more people see the things that we need or things that we want to move towards. It just gets kind of hard in trying to make everybody kind of really push towards those goals. It's kind of confusing on what to do or how to make things happen.
Do you vote?
I do. Because my voice matters. My voice matters, and you know, I feel like it's kind of a hypocritical thing to me to complain about things that happen in politics when I took no part of it. So at least if I put my voice out there, I put my vote out there, however the chips fall, I know that I did my part in that. And also it's like, I don't want the decisions that are made to be left up to others. Decisions that affect me and affect my kids, my family, I can't just leave that in the hands of everybody else. I play a role in that, so I take part in it. And that's why I vote.
I do vote.
Why?
I feel like if I feel like it's my duty, number one, as just a citizen. I can't really complain if I didn't vote myself, so I want to say my piece. There's so many people that have gone over time in history who couldn't vote, and it's kind of like a slap in the face if I don't vote myself to them, and that's why I always vote. I do for everything. So.
I do vote. I was fortunate enough to vote for the first time as an 18-year-old during the 2008 election. And ever since then, I have continued to vote, even for local,
The first time I got to vote when I was 18 was a great experience. Is when Obama was running for president. So that was really big for me. I thought that was important for, to see a new face in the office. It was really big for the Black community. So that was my first chance voting. So my biggest reason for voting there was because he was Black. I wanted to see somebody in office that sort of looked like me, did the same things, and just to show that Blacks can be excellent also.
Even now, there are still barriers for people who look like me to vote, and so the fact that I have that opportunity to do that, definitely I take advantage of that. I have to.
What makes you proud to be Black?
Everything. I love who I am, so I like to embrace it.
My people, how hard we fought for equality, even though we don't 100% have equality yet, but just how strong we're being and not letting the lack of equality crush us, and we keep pushing and stand strong.
What we've overcome so far as Black people inspires me and makes me proud to be a person of color, to be Black.
Everything, the culture, the people, it's different.
I gotta work harder to do everything, and then like it inspires me to like be greater than everyone, and like to like be at the top and like achieve stuff that people don't think we can achieve.
What makes you proud to be black?
Everything. I'm black. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be just black. Yeah.
Because black is beautiful.
Black is beautiful. I still rise. Still I rise. I still rise. Still I rise. Shout out to Rosa Parks. No, we ain't going back. Shout out to MLK. No, I can live my dreams because of his speech he gave in 1996. King. So many powerful black men and women in history. It amazes me how strong independent black culture is. Still rising to the top, no competitors. You hate us because you ain't us, let's face the facts. Got the music, got the sports, and the food on lock. Got the fashion, got the beauty, everything on lock. You copy us so you can't beat us. Now you're upset. Something tells me that you're obsessed. Always at the top, always staying blessed. We don't need Wakanda for royalness. Black queens, black kings, and nothing less. I still rise. Still I rise. I still rise. Still I rise. No, we will not conform to the norm. Taking back everything that we owned. Mamba mentality always strong. Black is so beautiful, nothing new. This time gonna make sure everybody knows. Top of the food chain, gonna claim the crown. I don't care if you're white, black, or brown. Racism will never bring us down. Shout out to the people that make us strong. Black men and women that make us proud. Shout out to Maya Angelou, Harriet, Sojourner Truth, Toni Morrison, Jackie Robinson, Coco, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Kobe, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Pac, Biggie, J. Cole, Kendrick, Queen Bee, Riri, Summer Walker, Amaya Fokuo, Zoey Younger, and many more individuals that are woke. The list goes on and on and on and on. That's why we're rising to the top. So I still rise.
Black history is one of the hardest histories to talk about. There's MLK, Black Lives Matter, the Civil Rights Movement, etc. What do they have in common? We usually learn about them in school for 1 month of the year. Maybe a teacher adds Langston Hughes and the Harlem Renaissance. Or perhaps we read some of Maya Angelou's poetry. I enjoy learning about these people and topics, but I wish I could hear more and go deeper into these ideas they gave us. It is sad we only study Black history in February. It is sad that we only hear a few names. It is sad it took it to my senior year to really learn Black history. This year we started off with the 1619 Project and the start of Black history in America. I learned about people who built this country just as much as any founding fathers. Voices who told their stories of the country as much as any white authors. Musicians who created Rocky Road before Elvis sung a note. For example, Muhammad Ali was now one of the greatest boxers in history. He went to prison for his religious objections to the Vietnam War. In his words, Vietnam was white people sending Black people to fight yellow people to protect the country they stole from the red people. The world champion was kept out of his sport because of his moral beliefs, yet he refused to back away. He is a beacon of integrity of Black and Muslim communities. Jackie Robison is known as the first Black player in the Major League Baseball, but I know him as an activist, someone who endured racist taunts and physical attacks, not only from the public, but from his fellow players. Like Muhammad Ali, he stood tall in the face of hatred and oppressions and stared it down. He paved the way for generations of Black athletes. It is people like Muhammad Ali and Jackie Robinson whose shoulders we stand on. Jimi Hendrix, Sister Rosetta, Nat Turner, Henrietta Woods. Our ancestors may be gone, but they still walk beside us on our journey. So I want to end with an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Twas mercy brought me from my pagan land, taught my benighted soul to understand that there's a God, that there's a Savior too. One our redemption neither sought nor knew. Some view our sable race with scornful eye. Their color is a diabolic dye. Remember Christians, Negroes, Black as gain, may be refined and join the angelic train.
Why did we go through it? Why did we go through it? Why did we, go through it? Why did we go through it? I don't really understand the movement. What was y'all really trying to prove? What was y'all really trying to do? Only teach us our life in school. I don't know which way I wanna go. Do I tell you how I feel and what I know? Do I blow up and let the anger show? This is what y'all do to us. What you don't understand, that we still human. I know you probably think you got the power. Probably taking happy money showers. Oh, white man, white man, white man. Oh, white man, white man, white man. Oh, white man, white man, white man. I think I should say that shit again. Oh, white man, white man, white man. White man, you coulda gave us a hand. Oh, white man, white man, white man. Oh, white man, white man, white man. God love all of his children. Oh, white man, white man, white man. Why we go through? Why we go through?
Twas mercy brought me from my pagan land.
We go through?
Taught my benighted soul to understand that there's a God, that there's a Savior too. Once our redemption neither sought nor knew. Some view our sable race with scornful eye. Their color is a diabolic dye. Remember Christians, Negroes, Black as gain, may be refined and joined.
Can you hear me now? By me. Can you hear me now that I'm lying here trying to catch my breath because you shot me because my skin tone was the weapon you saw? Can you hear me now standing in the church crying, screaming for my baby because instead of sending my baby to Harvard or Yale to be the next president or astronaut, I'm sending my child to the ground at a young age? Can you see me now standing in my home, my safe place? I see something outside of my house. Then I see a cop with his gun pointed towards me like I'm doing something wrong. Boom! Did you hear that bullet that took my own life in my home by a cop that didn't even state why he was at my house in the first place? Can you hear us now that we're protesting, saying the names that you're too scared to say? Saying their names: Jamar Clark, Michael Brown, Tamar Rice, Ayanna Jones, Flendo Castillo, Sandra Bland, and Tatiana Jefferson. Say their names to City Hall. Say their names, tell their stories, say how they live. Say their names. Why can't I be black and be beautiful? Why can't I be black and be human? Why can't I be black and be heard? Hear me now before the last bullet takes my life.
Hey, before I even start, y'all heard PTSD, right? Y'all heard about the album? Yeah, all right. Hey, chill. Y'all. I love y'all too.
Can please quiet down? Please quiet down. Thank you.
A distorted image. We were marked from birth, yet we share one home and we call it Earth. We grow up strong despite the hurt, yet our worlds are split like different turfs. Remove our leaders before we fight. Remove our branches, the tree of life. Systematic oppression, the deadliest weapon. Birth the seeds of doubt and watch it grow in seconds. Witness the birth of Ouroboros. We went from slaves to the president, but it's obviously evident that we need more evidence to make our history more relevant and our voice more prevalent because our lives are irrelevant in the eyes of ignorance. The ignorant ignorantly ignoring what's true because this beautifully dark world has taught us to. Remove our leaders before we fight. Remove our branches, the tree of life. Systematic oppression, the deadliest weapon. Birth the seeds of doubt and watch it grow in seconds. The cycle repeats. Let a flame in our heart and let it burn with the passion. Our mental on fire, calm our flames with compassion. It burns bright, our fight is forever everlasting. Pass the torch to all my brothers and all my sisters of all different races and all different faces, to spread their greatness at all different paces, and to show unity. My bad. Unity breaks the cycle. Remove our leaders before we fight. Remove our branches, the tree of life. Systematic oppression, the deadliest weapon. Birth the seeds of doubt and watch it grow in seconds. We still rise. One love.
Amaya, where are you at? Amaya. Yes. Hey, y'all. Okay. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you so beset with gloom? Is it 'cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes? Showers falling, shoulders falling down like teardrops. We can buy my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard. Is it 'cause I walk like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard? You may shoot me with your eyes. You may cut me. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meetings of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing gifts... bringing the gifts... bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave.
Up for our acts, everyone. Woo! Okay. Well, once again, we want to say thank you to everyone that was part of this show, all of our great actors. This is all what Black History Month's all about, coming together, remembering the history. So from Zoey and I, thank you so much for coming, everyone. Thank you. And so we rise.